Okay, hola all, welcome back to Soul Mechanics. This is the promised story video for the Contact project, specifically for the Truth family really, and most specifically for Miguel Angel. I guess I can kind of understand certain circumstances wherein you might believe that it's better to keep certain things to yourself, but discussing your experiences, I mean, why are you doing psychedelics? The idea I get generally is that people are using psychedelics to explore the mind and to discover new informations, to discover new worlds, even to discover these alien entities or artifacts of the mind or whatever you're seeking to explore. And everybody has different experiences that are all pieces to a greater puzzle. So, I mean, you're not going to find what you're looking for alone. That's a fact. That's known. That's been known for a long, long time. That is a matter of fact. None of us are going to find what we are looking for on our own. We have to share our experiences. If you have these experiences, that's what you have them for, to share with others. And sharing your psychedelic experiences is much like sharing a dream. You know, there's no difference. You're not just sharing experiences with the Truth family, especially with the psychedelic crew. You're not going to be criticized or, you know, taken as crazy. So, I mean, just to say to Miguel, hopefully he's watching, Miguel, telling people that you're being surveilled by gang stalked by a group of people, an organization, maybe even the government, telling people that on Facebook, that's what if you are being stalked in that manner, that's what they want you to do. They want you to go onto Facebook and rant about it so that you come across as being a psychopath, so that people can just write you off and dismiss you because you are crazy. So, congratulations on their part. They've succeeded in making you do that, and you continue to do that, yet you're going to say that you don't want to share the psychedelic experiences that you have had specifically for the purpose of sharing, because you think that will harm your reputation. So, like, it doesn't even make any sense, and I know that you understand that. You are not in any way an unintelligent person. You are a very, very intelligent person. You know damn well that doesn't make any sense. So please get your ass in gear and share your fucking experiences. That's why you are having them. So what I want to share here is a few little stories, actually, rounding off to one particular story of an experience I had that was actually in a dream during the extremity deprivation, after I'd been awake for, I think, like 7 days without food or rest or contact with anybody, and then I finally went to sleep and I had this very odd dream. But what I wanted to talk about is synchronicity. Synchronicity's been popping up a lot in the Truth Family group and comments and such, and I wanted to speak on that. Synchronicity happens all the time, and the more that you look for it, the more you're going to find it. And people will say, well, of course, if you're looking for something, you're going to find it. It's like a pattern recognition thing. Well, no, really, it's not, because, I mean, these circumstances seem to be coordinated, orchestrated in some way, and it's like, where we talk to making contact with alien entities, I believe that there are varying levels to that, varying, like, filters through which we see these things, but I believe, obviously, I'm going to go ahead and say that I believe they're all pieces of the one soul, the initial psyche, and I think that you can make contact with that one soul, that initial psyche, which Jeremy Allen gave us a brilliant demonstration of that by eliminating what we're calling the ego, which in my last video I spoke to that. There is no ego. So that's the first step in eliminating the ego, is realizing that it's not real, that it doesn't exist. What you're actually trying to get through are the filters in your own identity that say you get to one filter and it seems like you're talking to aliens, you get to another filter, it seems like you're talking to angels or something. You go through these filters. Eventually you're going to get to a filter wherein you see that it's all a part of your psyche, and then the final barrier, the boundary, wherein you see that it's actually this one reflecting soul. And I wanted to mention briefly for Blake, for Booker, hopefully you're watching, We spoke in the video, the Crossing the Line video, the Invitation Crossing the Line video, about how blues especially, but psychonauts in general, get stuck in this loop phase where they get to a point. You actually mentioned in your video, Humans Make the Rules, I think it was called, which we're going to do a response for you on that one, Megan and I. It's very cool. That was a very good video, but you mentioned that psychonauts tend to get to this point where they think they know it all and they've got it all covered and they know everything better than everybody else and nobody can tell them anything. That's the phase. That's where blues get into that phase where they think that they have a higher intellect than everybody and they've somehow managed to get out of the illusion, and they just get stuck in that know-it-all phase, and they keep trying to do things alone, much like Miguel is. They keep trying to get further and further on their own, and they just get stuck in this loop where it seems like they're getting somewhere, but they're not. It's actually them reflecting themselves, what we call the dweller on the threshold. It's the Cerberus character blocking them from getting through to a greater level, which you can only reach the greater level via the help of other people. You cannot do that alone. We know that. That's why we are launching the Contact Project, to work together on this. So, Blake, I just wanted to say, if you're doing the DMT every day, you said you're doing it like every morning, I mean, that's a cool regime to do for a little while, like a practical, like a practice thing, maybe to do that for like a week or so, but please do not get stuck doing that. You can damage your brain. You can do a lot of damage to your physiology, to your neurochemistry. You can damage the neuropeptides, cause the neuropeptides to get confused. It'll lower your production of dimethyltryptamine in the brain because it thinks that it's producing more. It's overproductive. Like, you can set everything out of whack doing too much. Don't overdo it, please. We need you in good shape, man. I'm looking out for you. So when I tell you these things, Miguel got angry with me once because I told him to lay off, cut down. He got mad at me because he thought I was like calling him an addict or something. No, I don't give a shit if you are an addict. I don't care. What I care about is your health, your well-being. I care about you being in play. So to speak to synchronicities, today I came up to my mom's place to visit her for the anniversary to have, maybe cook something or hang out or what have you, play with the kiddies, have a little fun. And I like to go across town and run into the people I know and talk to them, little synchronicities happen. But when I got up here, I realized that I'd forgotten my wallet. I went to go get an energy juice and I'd forgotten my wallet. I didn't have any money. So I went back down to my house and I'm thinking, the whole way I'm thinking this is going to be some kind of a synchronicity, right? And I get back to my house to get my wallet, and I see my cupboard has entirely come off the wall. Now, earlier, my cupboard was starting to come off the wall. I needed shit from my mom. I needed some screws, some nails, and a hammer that I don't have at home to fix that, but I'd totally forgotten it, and I would have totally forgotten it had I brought my wallet, and that cupboard would be laying on the ground. The whole fucking cupboard would have come off the wall, and just my kitchen would be a fucking disaster zone. But I actually propped it, and I came here and I remembered to get what I need for that. So that's a little instance of a synchronicity, and what's happening there is that it seems that there's an intelligent force at work behind everything, like the world is alive, communicating with you, but this intelligent force, it's miraculous and amazing in the sense that somehow it's always like ahead of you. It's not just like a step ahead of you, but it can be like decades ahead of you. And it's plotting all these things out, maneuvering these synchronicities. If you follow the synchronicities consistently, they're going to lead sometimes to paths that go for, 10 years or more down the line that lead to something else. And it's astounding how this works out. And it's always happening. Again, by the way, it's always happening. You're always going to run into this shit if you're looking for it. And like I said, people will say, well, if you're looking for something, you might find it. Well, who gives a shit? If you're looking for it and you find it, that's because it's there. It's not. I really don't understand where they're coming from with that one, but I wanted to speak to like what I think of as being, I like to call like the watermark of God, is when you run into timeless synchronicities, or synchronicities that have a sense of timelessness, as though something was so far ahead of you, or like something happened to give you the answer to a question before you asked it, or something happens that's things that happen that it seems as though they were plotted far ahead of time, or things that happen that are like totally fucking miraculous. Like the last time that I was in for surgery, and this has happened several times over, I've been in life-threatening situations where something has happened that was just outrageously miraculous like this, but I actually went into the ER. I had a blockage, but I didn't know this. I went into the ER because I was puking shit up. I was like puking up bile, and I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't even like take a sip of soda without throwing up for a few days, like 3 or 4 days. And I went into the ER, and they dismissed me. They tossed me out because they thought I was drug seeking, which that's a big problem we have in the medical community that needs to be cleared up, is that people nowadays, nurses, doctors, ER nurses and such, they're trained really to think that people are drug seeking and to dismiss them, and that's a big no-no. That's a big problem that needs to be worked out. But they dismissed me and tossed me out because they thought I was drug seeking. I say for 3 days after that, and I was puking up bile. I couldn't eat anything, and like black bile I was puking up, and it kept filling me up, so I had to force myself to puke this shit up, and I was just really in bad shape. And I had a dream that I was playing this video game. I used to play Skyrim. Megan and I used to play together, and my character's health was just constantly going down, and I kept giving the character like potions and shit to raise her health, but it just kept going down. And then I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why is my character dying? And I look at the stats, and it turns out that her health, like regeneration or health recovery, is blocked, and she just keeps losing health no matter what I give her. And I woke up from that, and I was like, I'm fucking dying. And I went to the hospital, back to the ER, and this time they told me, they actually told me, well, it could just be some kind of kink in your system. Let's just wait it out and see if it doesn't work itself out. They actually said that to me. Meanwhile, I'm on the verge of dying. Like, I'm that close to being dead. And they tell me, let's just wait and see if it works itself out. And out of nowhere, my old doctor from years before that, I hadn't seen this dude in years, Dr. Oza, amazing practitioner, he shows up without any reason, just out of nowhere. This dude shows up, he takes one look at my chart, he sees me, he says hello, he takes one look at my chart, doesn't even talk to me. Takes one look at my chart, he says to the other doctor, you need to get him into surgery right now. And they got me into surgery, and it saved my fucking life. And this has happened consistently. Like, I've been in that life-threatening situation and major surgeries, damaged really bad several times over. I've had several NDEs, and that something just like that has happened every time to step in and save my motherfucking ass. And then we talked to Jeremy for the interview. He speaks from the God perspective, as he was, and he actually told me, you're being protected. You are protected. And I told him, nobody else heard this, I don't think it was in the interview, but I actually told him, I said, I want my people protected, taken care of too. And there was an agreement made there, an arrangement. So, you can believe it or not, believe what you like, but that's what's happening. And I promise you guys, if you follow protocol, do not harm people unless it's in defense, do not lie unless it's in defense, do not cause divisions unless it's in defense of yourself or others, and you will be protected, taken care of. Anyways, that was, instances of synchronicities there, but what's fascinating about this, what fascinates me is that this intelligence, like I said, it's somehow so far ahead of us, and it has to be. Now, you could say that, well, it's God, it has the plan mapped out, and the future's already written, but no, that's bullshit. We know for a fact, science, physics tells us that there is no future. The future does not exist. It can't be happening now, so there is no future. Again, humans make the rules, so we're using science as our platform. Science is our existential platform of understanding. Thereby, whatever science says goes. So, yeah, our science says there is no future in play. Thereby, now it is actually happening as it happens. There is no written future. Nothing, it's not mapped out in advance. Yet somehow there's this intelligent force in play that's so far ahead of us, it can map these things out and coordinate these synchronicities years and years even in advance. So that's what's fascinating to me, is trying to kind of make contact with that, understand what that is. Now, of course, as I said, in the varying layers falling back behind that, we come into contact with what people think are angels, what people think are aliens. There's all sorts of cool shit out there, but you guys need to share your stories. We need to be sharing our stories. They are not just for you. They're for you to share. We all have pieces to this puzzle to put together. So anyway, the dream I wanted to talk about really quick, when I had that weird dream, it was like a fever dream. I saw this, I don't know what it was. It was a celestial object of some sort, maybe like a meteor or a planet or something. and it was approaching a planet. It wasn't this planet, but it was approaching some other planet that was actually inhabited, and the people all knew that this thing was coming, and they were scared shitless. They knew that this thing was going to destroy their world, or at least do severe damage to it. Meanwhile, the people who were watching it, astrologers and whatnot, they could pick up this signal that was coming off of it, and it was like a repeating message. I don't know what the message was. I mean, I heard it. They had played it out, and it was actually like speaking in English, I think. So I heard this message repeating, but I can't remember what it said. But it was just some odd repeating message as this object came toward the planet, and the people were scared shitless. And then I saw it skip to what I saw was the aftermath of it, and everybody was dying, and the whole planet was like extinction level event. And then I saw it another planet, and it happened on another planet. Then I saw another planet. It just kept going in this dream. I kept seeing this object moving toward planet after planet after planet, destroying them. So I don't know what that means. Obviously, I'm going to want to think that that means something, that that's not actually like a literal happenstance, because we don't want that to happen. But that was the dream I wanted to share. Just if anybody has any ideas, if anybody's had similar dreams, or you know, can make any sense of it, please do. That is what the Contact Project is for. So thank you all for watching. Kilo Salai, Terva Uni Siari, Namaste, happy anniversary to everyone.